The way Nigeria is holding a particular set of people down is one of the reasons Nigeria is not developing. They want all of us to go through Lagos, ship from Lagos, and pay for the 1,000 and 100 and 1,000 checkpoints that you have to go through Lagos to get your thing down to the east. Good evening, all. Somebody sent me a video from Very Dark Black Man, where he was analyzing the importance and the hindrance of Lagos to the rest of Nigeria. I think I believe that why my attention was called to that was in an earlier video that I did, where I talked about the so-called Dr. Buala trying to convince the rest of Nigeria that the massive capital inflow into Lagos is because that Lagos is the metropolitan capital of Nigeria and Lagos is a no man's land and all that. Mr. Very Dark Black Man, thank you very much for adding your voice to the hundreds of voices that have been speaking about the Nigerian continued marginalization. And I'm sure if you listened carefully to the initial broadcast of people like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Naji, a lot of other people who have spoken about the continued marginalization of the rest of Nigeria to the benefit of places like Lagos and Abuja, and to a large extent even Kaduna. Now, to be very honest with you, if you understand the undertone of what is happening in Nigeria, you would know that the war is not over. After 1970, there was a grand scheme of plan to seize the properties of the Igbos, and then give them 20 pounds. And they moved everything to Lagos. They shut down all the ports in Calabar, in One, in Warri, and the rest of them to the benefit of Lagos. So everybody had to go move towards, because Lagos was then the attraction after the war. Everybody had to move towards Lagos to make ends meet, and some people went towards Kaduna and the northern areas. Now, when I say the war has not ended, the war has not ended. Subsequent administrations that came into Nigeria, including Obasanjo's administration, who we thought, and a lot of Nigerians generally gave him the vote. People thought Obasanjo was going to do the right thing. Obasanjo ended up running the same script which has been run between them after the war, because if you look at most people who ruled Nigeria subsequently, they played active role in the genocide of 1970 against the Easterners. I think another point that you need to understand, Very Dark Black Man, is that up north and within the south, they do not understand the difference between Edo, Bini, Calabar, and the rest of them. It is when we come down to the southeast that we begin to differentiate who is Ishan and who is Edo and who is River State and who is Calabar. Up north, they see us down the south as Nyamiri. And up west is the same thing. They don't understand this difference that we create, who is Ishan and who is North and who is Calabar and all the rest. So why did they do that? Because they know that if they open up the ports in Warri, you made mention that a lot of Edo people are abroad. Most of the things they ship, they would automatically move that to Warri. That would have, enabled the development of states like Edo State, states like Delta, and other states within the, axis of the Niger Delta. If they moved it towards Calabar, Calabar would have seen great import. Arochukwu would have benefited, and the rest of them. And if they come down to Port Harcourt, that would have filtered into Abia State, and the same will serve Imo State and will serve Anambra State. Now, They do not want other parts of Nigeria to develop. There was a time they came up with the, I can't remember the name now, sea land airport, which they wanted to build in the north so that the northerners can cargo their things upwards, to the north. Or they will clear it, they will take it from Lagos, go and clear it in Kaduna. Well, that will add an extra cost to their whole transaction. Now, we from the southeast, we have to come through Lagos for everything. The same thing with you guys. The same thing with those in the Niger Delta, Benue, Plateau, and every other Nigerian. And because they have used tribalism to hold us to ransom, most people, they will sponsor people within our groups to begin to fight each other. And somebody will say Ikwere is not Igbo, somebody will say Ishan and this and Edo and all that. All these people who have been doing this thing on social media, they are sponsored to create division between us in the south, so that when we do not speak with one voice, like you have just spoken now, very dark black man, I don't know the spirit that got into you, but it must be the spirit of truth for you to have spoken about this issue. Now, they want all of us to go through Lagos, ship from Lagos, and pay for the 1,100 and 1,000 checkpoints that you have to go through Lagos to get your thing down to the east. And at the end of the day, bringing it down to the east will add enormous cost to the goods that you bring. Again, when you said that and I looked at it, they will not want to do it. And it was shocking to me that when Goodluck Jonathan became president, he could not even do the same thing. He could not even, as president, open the ports in his own territory, the Onne port, to function. There was a time Lagos port was full. They opened up the Calabar port and they opened up Onne port. So some of our goods, I used to be an importer at that time. Many of my goods went to Calabar, some went to Port Harcourt. And I can tell you the truth that when we went to Calabar, I did not even go to Calabar. It was my in-law that went there and cleared my goods from there. I flew down to Port Harcourt and I cleared my goods. Within 3 days, my cars were all out, and I sold all my cars right within 2 days of clearance. Most of them are even sold inside the wharf because the market was there for it. The perpetration of wickedness and racism in Nigeria is an aftermath of the plan, geared towards the Igbo people of the Southeast. They don't want them to breed. That's why everything is being held in Lagos. You can't believe that each time we come home, go and look at one of my other videos. I told you how much I spent coming down with a family of 4 into Lagos, spending my time in the hotel, paying for extra luggage just for me to be able to fly into Lagos and fly to the east. It cost an average Igbo person over $600 if you fly from wherever, from the US or from the Europe into Lagos, and then for you to do an onward travel down the east. These are the wickedness that we've been talking about, that people like Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, a lot of Najidem and all the rest have come out to speak about. It is the wickedness that is holding Nigeria. It is the alignment, the agreement to hold people in the south, in the southeast down, that is holding Nigeria. Because why would it be that every other part of this nation cannot be allowed to prosper? Why would it be that we have to fly to Abuja, we have to fly to Lagos? We are a nation of how many people? 200 and something million people. And all these people are forced to go through 2 airports into Nigeria. All the other international airports, they don't want to give them that proper accreditation for them to have international flights that can drop somebody in Enugu, and within 1 hour you're in your village. Having said that, very dark black man, I think I'm happy that people like you are beginning to join your voices to truth. The truth is that The plan is all against a certain people. And in doing that, Nigeria has been holding itself down for centuries without any progress. And there can never be any meaningful progress in Nigeria until the racism, the apartheid, and the xenophobia against a particular set of people cease to exist. And I'm calling on people who are now, who are very reasonable people, to begin to look at something that you said, very dark black man, and other people have been saying against the wickedness and evil perpetrated by the Nigerian systemic governance against the rest of Nigeria. It is not Lagos, it is the people, the powers that be, that have planned this thing over the years because they do not want any other territory to progress and open up so that we can begin to have divergence in our economy, divergence in our developmental objectives and strategies in Nigeria. It is not going to change as long as, look at Lagos. Lagos is congested. People are tired of being in Lagos. Some people will be in the traffic for more than 3-4 hours. They don't want to open other places. Instead, what they want to do is to look at a state like Ondo State and begin to open up new places and push the population into developing their own part of the place. And then tomorrow they will use the bulldozers and caterpillars and begin to push down the houses and say that everybody is trying to take over their territory. If you open up the economy of Nigeria, who wants to be in your place? Everybody can be in their place. It takes me, I am from a village in Imo State, it takes me an hour to get to Owerri. If all these imports are coming in through Calabar, through One, and other places are developed, who will want to be in Lagos? People who want to be in their villages. All this insecurity we are talking about will be drastically reduced because activities will begin to happen in all these areas, and the police will be properly salaried for them to do the right thing and begin to police all this environment. The way Nigeria is holding a particular set of people down is one of the reasons Nigeria is not developing. It's not the Lagos. It's not Lagos, like you said, but it is the politicians, the powers that be, people who have not ended the war since 1970. The genocide, the racism, the xenophobia, and the apartheid has continued. And I'm sure one of the days you will add your voice to people like Abike Dabiri. These are people in the government, people in public office who are referring to others as monkeys and gorillas. And these are the things that we see. These are state-sponsored wickedness and evil against a people who they believe that if given the opportunity, they will excel. But very black dark man, thank you for adding your voice to the millions that have been complaining, and to the thousands that have spoken the truth. And we applaud you. We welcome you for joining the good voices of the ancestors to call for proper conduct and proper standards to be set in Nigeria where other people can gain. Thank you.